Do you want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend!
Scarface is one of the most popular gangster films ever made. Frequently referenced in pop culture, its legacy has grown more and more since its release in 1984. Scarface tells the story of Tony Montana, a Cuban illegally arriving in Miami for work with his friend Manny. Montana pursues the American dream but quickly becomes part of the city's criminal underworld. He achieves this dream very quickly, living the rags to riches story before being the catalyst to his own downfall. But is there more to the story of Scarface than what meets the eye? Does it promote a lifestyle of drugs and violence, or is there a deeper message? In this video, I aim to analyse the character of Tony Montana. In this video, Must Talks, Tony Montana, the tragic hero. Before delving into Montana's character and whether he fits the role of a tragic hero or not, first we must define the term tragic hero. A tragic hero is usually the main character of the plot and is the character who the audience typically relate to the most. Through their actions or decisions, they will go on to suffer a tragedy, often one which could have been avoided. A classic example would be Romeo or Juliet in the Shakespeare play Romeo and Juliet. Both are main characters and through their actions, driven by their love for one another, suffer a tragedy at the end of the play in which they both die. On first viewing, the audience may not realise some of the terrible decisions the characters are making, which will lead to their fate, and often their characters struggle to realise this. In Scarface, we see these same characteristics, but how can you spot a tragic hero?
You know what a casa is?
No, thank you, tell me. What is...
It's a Yiddish word for pig. It's a guy, he wants more than what he needs. He don't fly straight.
Not all tragic heroes will have bad qualities, all will have some flaw which will lead them to their tragedy. Going back to the example of Romeo and Juliet, their flaw was their love for one another, and how this blinded them and caused them to make the wrong choices. In Tony, we see more obvious bad qualities. As he quickly ascends the ladder of the criminal underworld, we see his greed, narcissism, and violent nature eat away at him, ruining his life and those around him. Tony's biggest flaw would be his pride and unstable emotional behaviour. These are not traits we see initially from Tony, but they develop over time, almost directly in parallel to his ascent up the criminal underworld ladder.
Okay?
You remember. I like to forget that.
I said be happy with what you got.
You'll be happy. Me, I want what's coming to me.
Or what's coming to you, Tony?
The world, Chico. And everything in it.
Delving deeper into Tony's pride, this ruined his relationship with his closest ally, Manny. Tony forgets that Manny played a big role in his success and begins to treat him as just another worker as opposed to a partner or close friend. Later, Tony kills Manny, showing his unstable emotional behaviour. Without giving them a chance to explain that they were recently married, Tony shoots Manny, causing his sister to go into a depression and leaving him all the more isolated. Where Tony was once charming and romantic with his wife Elvira, Tony becomes verbally abusive towards her, questioning her ability to be a wife and a mother to future children. In their heated exchange in the restaurant scene, Tony gets a clear warning of the man he is turning into.
Can't you see what we're becoming to? We're losers. We're not winners, we're losers.
Due to Tony's pride, however, he ignores this and lashes out at Elvira. Perhaps the biggest example of Tony's pride is his inability to accept that he is just one of a number of big-time drug dealers operating in Miami. Where he was clearly warned of the dangers of crossing Sosa, Tony crosses him anyway. When Lopez was explicit about Tony needing to be honest with him, he makes a deal behind Lopez's back. Tony's death is a build-up of all of his actions and decisions coming to fruition. Though at this point in the film, Tony's character is seriously flawed, possibly to the point that the audience will struggle to relate to him, the director cleverly introduces a redeeming quality of Tony's personality. Despite being warned of the consequences of betraying Sosa, Tony refuses to go ahead with Sosa's request because of his refusal to injure or kill any children. This shows Tony as still having some good to his character. He makes a decision many people would make. Ironically, despite all of the wrong he had done previously, it is this decision that is the proverbial nail in the coffin for Tony. Had Tony gone ahead with killing the politician who threatened to expose him and Sosa in that moment, Tony's ending may have been a kinder one. Another way to spot a tragic hero is to pay attention to the reversal of fortune they face. By reversal of fortune, we're referring to a character having money, power, or a generally happy life before quickly facing a calamity that takes some, if not all, of this away. Again, going back to Romeo and Juliet, at one point their lives seemed perfect, and they would live happily ever after. However, their fortune quickly takes a turn and they both die a tragic death. With Tony, this reversal of fortune is equally as clear. Once a top player of the criminal underworld with a glamorous wife by his side, his family well looked after, and Manny also benefiting from this quickly turned into his wife requesting a divorce, Manny dying as a result of his erratic behaviour, and him becoming the target of a major drug mogul in Sosa. Tony's reversal of fortune is a tragic one, but in hindsight one that was avoidable, and makes his story the more tragic. I want to leave you with a clear bit of imagery of the rise and fall of Tony. In an earlier scene in the film, as Tony is becoming more and more involved with Frank Lopez, he watches a blimp fly over reading "The world is yours." In the final scene, when Tony is shot, he falls in front of a sign also reading "The world is yours." These two shots almost literally show the rise and downfall of Tony Montana. Tony's pursuit of worldly desires contributes massively to his downfall. The audience is left to reflect how Tony once seemed to own the world figuratively, in that he had everything he ever could have wanted, but yet he wanted more. The story of Tony also tells us of how the American dream can be quite poisonous. As he strives to become more successful, Tony is determined and solely focused on getting what he is working so hard for. It's almost as if the film is telling us that sometimes our pursuit of a goal is more important and beneficial to us than actually achieving the goal. But what are your thoughts on the film? Do you agree or disagree with anything that I've said? Please remember to like, share and subscribe.
You're dead, motherfucker!